the love of God in the middle of suffering. I am Daniel. I grow up not thinking if there is God. But life has a way of bringing moments where just coping stops being enough. Headaches, missing school, something that would require a long fight, going people laughing on phones. He found himself thinking something he hadn't thought in years. It wasn't a speech. The following weeks were heavy, but exhaustion began to show in everyone's eyes. Made calls, but at night, he sat alone in his car in the hospital parking lot. I don't know how to carry this. No voice from the sky, not hostile. A few days later, stopped him in the hallway. He tried to brush it off. Your sister needs you healthy too. A friend from work quietly covered shifts. Daniel didn't connect all of it at, I am Daniel, who didn't grow up thinking much about God. You work, you earn, and for a long time it worked. The doctors ran tests. Daniel remembered sitting in the hospital waiting room, coffee machines buzzing, while inside that room everything felt frozen. If there is a God, hospital visits, waiting, small signs of hope followed by setbacks. He stayed busy so he wouldn't have to feel everything at once. One evening, he didn't turn the engine off right away, and for the first time, no dramatic moment happened. No sudden answer, not empty. Someone Daniel had seen many times but never really spoken to. She handed him a cup of coffee and said, but it was kindness that arrived exactly when he didn't have energy to ask for it. Someone in the hospital chapel, someone. It simply said, you are not alone in this. First, life for me was practical. That was how I survived. At first, it was small things. Fatigue, more tests, something uncertain, staring at the floor tiles. He wasn't a very emotional person. I don't even know what I would say. His family tried to stay strong. He handled paperwork, drove people back and forth. When the house was quiet, the weight came back. He just sat there, he said quietly. Just silence. Different. Something small happened, but she didn't move on quickly. It wasn't dramatic. That same week, Daniel didn't know, left. Box that later got passed to his family. Things were being carried in ways he wasn't. Life for him was practical. You work, you earn, you solve problems, you move on. That was how he survived. And for a long time, it worked. But life has a way of bringing moments where just coping stops being enough. It started when his younger sister became seriously ill. At first it was small things. Fatigue, headaches, missing school. The doctors ran tests. More tests. Then came the word nobody in the family wanted to hear. Something serious. Something uncertain. Something that would require a long fight. Daniel remembered sitting in the hospital waiting room, staring at the floor tiles, thinking how strange it was that the world outside kept going, people laughing on phones, coffee machines buzzing, while inside that room everything felt frozen. He wasn't a very emotional person, but that night, walking home alone, he found himself thinking something he hadn't thought in years. If there is a God, I don't even know what I would say, but I need help. It wasn't a speech. It was just that. The following weeks were heavy. Hospital visits, waiting, small signs of hope followed by setbacks. His family tried to stay strong, but exhaustion began to show in everyone's eyes. Daniel did what he always did. He took responsibility. He handled paperwork, drove people back and forth, made calls. He stayed busy so he wouldn't have to feel everything at once. But at night, when the house was quiet, the weight came back. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, he sat alone in his car in the hospital parking lot. He didn't turn the engine off right away. He just sat there, and for the first time, he didn't try to think his way out of it. He said quietly, "I don't know how to carry this." No dramatic moment happened. No voice from the sky. No sudden answer. Just silence. But something about that silence felt different. Not empty. Not hostile. More like space where he didn't have to pretend. A few days later, something small happened. An older nurse stopped him in the hallway. She said, "You look like you haven't slept properly in days." Then she handed him a cup of coffee and told him to sit for 5 minutes. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't dramatic, but it was kindness that arrived exactly when he didn't have energy to ask for it. That same week, a cousin he barely knew started helping without being asked. A colleague covered shifts. Someone left a note in a hospital chapel. "You are not alone in this." Daniel didn't connect it all at first. He just noticed something steady underneath everything. Support that kept appearing when he had nothing left to give. One night he finally went into the small hospital chapel while waiting. He didn't know what he believed. He wasn't trying to become someone else. He was just exhausted. He sat in the back and looked at the simple room. No loud music, no pressure, just quiet and flickering candles. And he thought about something strange. Not that his situation had disappeared, but that he had not been abandoned inside it. Months passed. His sister slowly began to improve. Not instantly, not completely, but enough that hope returned in a real grounded way. Life didn't become perfect afterward. There were still bills, stress, and ordinary struggles. But Daniel noticed something had changed in him. He didn't think of God as an idea people argue about as much anymore. He thought of God as something closer to what he had lived through, strength he didn't generate alone, help that arrived through people at the right time, moments of quiet endurance when he thought he had none left, and a kind of presence that didn't erase pain but made it survivable. Later, when someone asked him if he had found God during that time, he paused before answering. "I don't know how to explain it properly," he said, "but I felt like I was being carried in ways I didn't notice at first. Through people, through timing, through small things that added up." He wasn't trying to sound religious. He was just being honest about what it felt like to him, what this story reflects about the love of God, as many people experience it in real life. People often don't describe God's love as something dramatic. They describe it like this: support that comes through other people at the right time, strength that appears when your own runs out, quiet endurance during long, painful seasons, unexpected help that feels like it finds you, a sense that you are not left alone inside suffering. Not always a sudden solution, but a steady presence in the middle of real life. There are many ways people try to describe the love of God, but one of the clearest ways is through story, because love is something that's felt, not just explained. Long ago, there was a small village surrounded by mountains. The people there lived simple lives, working the land, raising children, and trying to survive the seasons. But the village had a strange rule passed down for generations. No one was allowed to climb the mountain above the village. They were told the mountain was dangerous, that anyone who went too high would get lost and never return. So people stayed where it felt safe. At the edge of the village lived a young man named Eli. He was kind, curious, and always asking questions. One question never left his mind. Why would the mountain be forbidden if it was also part of our world? The elders warned him, "Do not go. The mountain is not for you." But one winter, a terrible sickness spread through the village. The herbs that once helped no longer worked. People grew weak. Eli's mother became ill too. He searched for answers in the village but found none. One night, as the wind shook the wooden houses, he made a decision. If the mountain held danger, maybe it also held answers. So he went. The climb was harder than he imagined. Cold wind cut his face. Rocks slipped under his feet. At times he almost turned back. But something inside him kept going. Not ambition, not pride, but love for his mother and his people. Higher up he found things he never expected. Streams of clean water, strange herbs glowing under moonlight. And then, near the highest ridge, he saw something impossible. A garden. It was alive, warm and full of light even though no sun touched it there. And in the center of the garden stood an old man. The man looked at Eli with deep, gentle eyes. Not surprised, not angry, just waiting. Eli was afraid. "Who are you?" The man replied, "I have been here longer than your village has existed." Eli asked, "Why is this place hidden?" The man answered, "It was never hidden. You were only told not to come." Eli looked around. "Then why?" The man stepped closer. "Because I gave your people freedom, and freedom always carries fear." Eli fell silent. The man continued, "But I never stopped caring for them. I placed remedies in the mountain, water in the rocks, and healing in the soil. I watched them from here, waiting for someone to seek what they needed, instead of staying in fear." Eli's voice shook. "My mother is dying." The man nodded. "I know." He gently placed a handful of seeds in Eli's hand. "Take these. They will heal what is broken below." Eli hesitated. "Why help us after we ignored you?" The man smiled, not in anger but in deep patience. "Because love does not stop when it is ignored. It does not withdraw when it is forgotten. It continues to give." Eli returned to the village before dawn. He used what he had found, and slowly people began to recover. But something deeper also changed. He told them about the mountain, about the garden, about the man. Some believed him, some didn't, but over time, a few began to climb, not because they were forced, but because they were invited by hope. And those who went found the same truth. The mountain had never been empty. They had only been afraid to see what was already given to them. What this story means, this is one way to understand the love of God. It is not removed by distance or disobedience. It is patient even when ignored. It is active, providing what we need, even when we don't see it. And it is inviting, not forcing. In many traditions, God's love is described as something that seeks people first, not something people must earn. Like the man in the garden, it waits, provides, and continues to care even when misunderstood. There was once a large city that never seemed to sleep. Lights stayed on all night, buses ran even in the darkest hours, and people moved quickly through the streets as if they were always late for something. In that city lived a young woman named Mara. Mara was not unhappy, but she was tired in a way she could not explain. She worked hard, studied hard, tried to be kind, tried to be strong, but inside, she often felt like something was missing, not something she could buy or achieve or explain. Something quieter than that. She sometimes looked up at the sky between tall buildings and thought, if there is a God, does he see me? Or am I just one person lost in too much noise? She never said it out loud. One winter evening, Mara missed her usual train home. The station was crowded, delayed, loud. People were frustrated, arguing, scrolling through phones. She stepped outside to wait for the next one. Snow had begun to fall. She walked without thinking, just to stay warm, until she reached a small part of the city she didn't know. An old street with fewer lights, quieter shops, and a small open doorway glowing softly. Above the door was a simple sign, "The House of Rest." She almost walked past it, but something about it felt different, like the noise inside her head became quieter when she stood near it. So she entered. Inside was not what she expected. There were no loud voices, no advertisements, no pressure, just warm light, wooden floors, and the smell of bread baking somewhere unseen. An old man sat near a fireplace reading a book. He looked up and smiled as if he had been expecting her. "You look tired," he said gently. Mara tried to laugh it off. "Everyone is tired." The man nodded. "That is true. But not everyone knows where to rest." She didn't know why, but she sat down. After a while, she said quietly, "Do you believe God sees people like me, or just important people?" The old man closed his book. "Tell me," he said, "have you ever seen a lighthouse?" "Yes," she replied. "Does it shout at ships to come in?" "No." "Does it move toward them?" "No." "Then how does it help?" "It just shines." He nodded. "And ships decide whether to trust it or not." Mara looked at the fire. "That doesn't answer my question." The old man smiled slightly. "It does. You are asking if you are noticed, not if you are controlled." He stood and walked to a small shelf. On it were many cups of different shapes, some beautiful, some cracked, some very plain. He picked one up carefully. It had a small crack down the side. "This cup," he said, "is still used. Not because it is perfect, but because it can still hold water." Mara frowned. "That seems wasteful. Why not use a perfect one?" He replied, "Because love does not only value what is unbroken, it restores what is weary." Outside, the wind pressed against the windows. Inside, the fire kept burning steadily, without rushing, without fading. Mara asked, "Why is this place here?" The old man looked at her for a long moment. "Because people forget," he said softly. "They forget that they are allowed to stop running. They forget that they are not only what they produce. They forget that they are still seen even when they feel invisible." Mara felt something tighten in her chest. Not pain exactly, but recognition. She whispered, "But I don't know how to fix myself." The old man shook his head. "You were not asked to fix yourself alone." She stayed until the snow stopped. When she finally stepped outside again, the city had not changed. The train still ran late. The lights still flickered. The world still moved too fast. But something inside her had shifted. Not because her problems were gone, but because she no longer felt unseen within them. What this story is pointing to, this version of the story reflects a simple idea of God's love. It is quiet, not loud. It is steady, not demanding. It is present even when life feels crowded or chaotic. And it offers rest, not pressure. Like a light that does not chase you, but stays lit so you can find your way if you choose to look. Matthew 11:28-29. "Come to me, all of you who are tired from carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke and put it on you and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in spirit, and you will find rest. Just as you are, Jesus loves you.